Hello, my name is Cassandra Struble. Welcome to today's practice. For today's practice, we will need a mat and our blocks. We're going to begin today's class by starting out on our backs. Slowly coming down onto our backs, nice and slow. While we're here, let's take a moment to just connect with our breath. So as we inhale, slowly taking a nice big breath in through our nose. And slowly exhaling out of our mouth. In through our nose. Out of our mouth. Now let's take a moment to kind of, every time we exhale, kind of move around in our shoulders, maybe shifting left and right or up and down, but really grounding our shoulders into the earth. So using that exhale to really relax our shoulders down. And as we're moving around, beginning to feel the rest of our back connected down onto our mats. Beginning to bring a little bit of awareness into our breath. And as we do that, let's go ahead and come into our three-part breathing. So we're going to place our hands on our upper chest. We're either going to stack one hand over the other, or we're going to go ahead and interlock those fingers, creating little Batman wings for our eagle hands, and then resting them on our chest. And we can just relax our elbows down to the side. And as we do this, let's begin moving around with that breath. So as we inhale, we can feel our shoulders expanding and our chest and our ribs. And then as we exhale, let's kind of slowly move around in those shoulders to kind of lower down and ground. Nice big inhale into our mouths. Slowly grounding our backs into the earth. So staying with that nice, slow breath cycle. And on our next exhale, let's go ahead and take our hands down to our middle belly. So we can either rest our hands on our rib cage with our elbows on the floor, or we can make a diamond pattern with our hands, touching our thumbs and our pointer fingers, and resting those thumbs up underneath our rib cage. And we're going to start to feel our diaphragm beginning to come online here. Nice big inhale with that breath. Feeling our ribs expanding out. Our diaphragm kind of adding to that rib expansion. And more importantly, closing our eyes so we can feel that connection. Letting go of our thoughts. Letting go of our day. Any expectations. And slowly just beginning to surrender into the mat. Now, as we exhale and take our hands down to our lower hips, we can keep that diamond pattern with our hands. We can rest our thumb on, above, or below our belly button. Or we can rest our hands on our hips and our elbows on the earth. As we are beginning to breathe here into our middle belly, really feeling a nice big expansion. And then as we exhale, let's start moving around in our hips a little bit, kind of grounding those hips. So a nice big inhale, breathe that breath through our lungs, through our middle belly. And as we exhale, just moving around, feeling that connection a little bit more with the earth. And let's take a nice big inhale. On that next inhale, we're going to take our hands up over our head, reaching as far as we can. And then we're going to take our feet all the way out, nice and long, into a good extended mountain here. And then as we come to that extended mountain, let's try to extend until we get a nice full yawn. Just welcoming more oxygen into our bodies. Now leaving our hands over our head, let's slowly begin to bring our feet back into our constructive rest pose. So our hands are still reaching overhead. We can lift and lower our neck. And then we're going to take our feet and we're going to walk them a little bit wider than our mat. And as we come wider with our mat, let's go ahead and bring our knees together and apart. Nice and slow. So we can feel our abs and our abductors right in our hips. Taking our time as we are moving so we can kind of feel that stretch through our muscles. Now this time, let's begin to slowly shift one knee to the center and dropping to the other to the side. Now, as we're doing this, let's pause before we actually shift. So inhaling one direction, pausing with our breath, holding, and then exhaling to the other. Really taking our time as we're moving nice and slow. Still reaching overhead with those hands, trying to expand all of our spine. And then let's go ahead and slowly walk our feet to the edges of our mat. We're going to continue rocking here. This time, as we're beginning to come through the middle with our knees, let's take that time to really stretch our spine out. So taking advantage of it, kind of working our spine longer from our hips to our belly button. From our belly buttons to our ribs, from our ribs all the way up to our shoulders, so we can kind of feel this stretch actually from our hips all the way into our armpits, really stretching those muscles that go across our body. It also kind of cause some tension and tightness in our hips and our backs and our knees, all the fun stuff. So just slowly starting to stretch that psoas. Now let's slow our knees down even more as we're rocking, really allowing for a little bit of hold in between again so we can feel that stretch coming from all the way from our hips to our armpits. Each time through the middle, really trying to elongate our spine, closing our eyes, making that connection, taking our time, using that pause to really stretch. How long that hold and that pause is up to us today, really feeling what we need here in this moment. Now slowly coming back to center, let's go ahead and bring our hands into our cactus arms. So we're going to go ahead and bring our hands out to shoulder height, and then we're going to bend those elbows. All of the back of our hands and our arms are touching the mat. And then we're going to slowly bring the bottoms of our feet together, coming into that reclined butterfly, dropping our knees out to the side. Now we can also place blocks underneath our knees while we are here, just so we can release some of that tension in our hips and really relax them to get a nice stretch. And as we're here in our cactus arms, we want to begin to press all of our back onto the mat. So really feeling that connection, thinking through our hips, thinking through our lower spine, and then just slowly drawing our imagination up our spine, kind of maybe moving that part of our back to really connect and feel grounded. We want to come up all the way into our shoulders, and then we want to feel all of our shoulders pressing on the earth, all the way out to our elbows. We press our elbows into the ground, maybe moving around as we're pressing, really trying to ground our energy. Now let's go ahead and slowly bring our knees together, and we're going to come in for a flowing bridge. So as we come back to our constructive rest pose, let's go ahead and slowly walk our heels back towards our bottoms if we choose. We're going to place our hands down next to our hips, and as we inhale, we're going to start to squeeze our bottoms, squeeze our thighs. And as we would like, we can start to add that lower belly. So thinking about using that root ball, really tightening from our hips up towards that belly button, bringing that shelf up. Now, as we're continuing to flow through our bridge, really squeezing those thighs, pressing them together, squeezing our bottoms, really thinking about all of our shoulders resting on the earth, grounding that bridge. Now, our next opportunity to come up, let's go ahead and press up to the sky. Let's hold here for a minute in our bridge. Really thinking about all of our hands and our arms connected towards the earth. Thinking about our feet and our bottoms and our abs and everything squeezing up. And let's go ahead and exhale, slowly lower down. Let's go back to a little bit of a nice flow here. Just flowing with that bridge ever so gently. Now squeezing, really squeezing everything, squeezing our thighs, squeezing our bottom, squeezing our abs here. Pressing those shoulders, nice big breaths, holding. Exhale, slowly lowering down. Let's go ahead and bring our knees into our chest. Let's take it a little bit of side to side action here. And as we are in our side action, thinking about shifting our breath from one side to the other. It doesn't matter which way we are inhaling or exhaling. We just want to use that breath of power as well as set a pace. Now let's take those legs in a nice circle here. And then shifting directions. Now slowly coming back to the center, let's release our hands from behind our knees. We're going to do our first set of crunches. So bring our hands back behind our head. We are going to do a straight up crunch. Now remember, for this crunch, we are trying to crunch up to the sky with our belly. We're not trying to arch our back towards our belly. So as we crunch, we can use that chin to lift up. Exhale, lower down. Squeezing all of our abs together. Keeping our back on that as we are squeezing those bellies. Really trying to reach as if our belly is contracting. Nice big squeezes. And let's go ahead and exhale and come back to the center. And let's drop our knees down to the right or to the left. And then as we drop our knees down, let's go ahead and extend our hands out to shoulder height. Now we can choose to leave our legs stacked here, or we can choose to expand that top leg nice and long. If we're going to expand that top leg out, we want to turn that toe back towards our knee. So we're going to feel this at least from the back of our knee, if not our heel, all the way to our hip, and then out through our back. And then on our way, let's go ahead and turn our head that is opposite of our knees. So if we have dropped our knees to the left, let's go ahead and turn to the right. And then let's take our eyes over that shoulder, nice big stretch from our heel to our armpit, out to those fingers and up to our eyes. And let's go ahead and blink our eyes and just turn our head to the other side. So now we're looking the same direction as our feet. And we're going to extend those fingers out nice and long. Now exhale, if your leg is extended, let's bring it back and top. However, when we bring our knees to the middle, let's go ahead and stop here. We're going to get another set of crunches in. So bringing our knees to the center, let's go ahead and crunch straight up again. Nice big full crunch in our middle. Keeping it a nice pace. Inhaling that crunch. Exhaling, controlling that lower down. Using all of our abs to crunch up. And then on our next exhale, let's go ahead and shift our feet down towards the other side. And then we can leave those knees stacked, or we can extend that top leg nice and long. Once we extend that top leg nice and long, let's go ahead and turn our toe towards that knee. So stretching to that heel. Arms or shoulder height. We're going to go ahead and look at that hand that's opposite of our knees. So if we drop our knees to the right, let's go ahead and look left. Nice big stretch out through our fingertips. And let's take the eyes into the stretch, looking over that shoulder. Nice. Continuing to breathe. Allowing for our body to relax in that exhale so we can feel that stretch. Let's go ahead and slowly begin to blink our eyes. We're going to bring that leg back in line, bring our knees back to center. Let's go ahead and do another set of crunches. This time we're going to do a little bit differently. We're going to crunch up the middle. We're going to give a little pulse to give you one or two or three pulses and then slowly lower down. So coming up to that top point, choosing how much we want to pulse today, and then exhale, lowering down. Your only goal is you have to do it nice and slow. So really taking our time, squeezing our abs when we're up there, using those abs right in the middle. And then exhale, slowly lowering down to the floor. Let's go ahead and roll over onto all fours, nice and slow. As we come into all fours, let's go ahead and come into our cat-cow. So taking our time here. And as we come into all fours, we just want to make sure that our hips are over our knees and that our elbows and our shoulders and our wrists are in line. We're going to space out those fingers nice and wide, and we're slowly beginning to work through our cat-cow. So we're going to inhale and allow our belly to drop towards the earth. And as we exhale, we're going to round our back out nice and big and full. Just allowing for nice movement through that spine. And also, as we're moving through our spine, really taking that time, maybe in our cat or our cow, to pause our breath and expand a little bit. And maybe we're going to take that time to slowly move from one to the other, really slowing it down. And let's go ahead and come into all fours. We're going to slowly come into our spinal balance. So nice big inhale, lifting that left leg up. Bending that right leg nice and long. Now let's take our belly button up towards the spine. We can choose to stay and hold, or we can flow with it. For flowing, we're going to inhale, touching that knee to our arm. Exhaling all the way out. Inhaling our elbow to our knee. Reaching out. Now remember, we don't want to be rocking here. We want to stay tight, keeping that belly button nice and solid. Squeezing those abs. And let's go ahead and come back out in that spinal balance, really elongating between our fingers and our toes, squeezing our bottoms for squeezing that thigh, squeezing our abs. Now let's go ahead and lower that right hand down towards the earth. We're going to fall onto the ball of our toe and press back through our heel nice and long. Really pressing to lengthen our calf here. Now let's go ahead and slowly lower down onto our forearms. We're going to interlace our fingers real quick. And we're going to slowly bring our toes underneath us, coming into that dolphin. Nice big inhale, bringing our bottoms up, pulling them back to the wall behind us, pressing with our forearms. Using those forearms as a way to take our hips up towards the sky. That will allow us to slowly drop our heels towards the earth to lengthen the back of our legs. Nice big stretch from our heels through our knees, all the way to our bottom. Head is just hanging. Now let's go ahead and exhale, slowly lowering down into our puppy dog. So as we come onto our knees, let's just go ahead and sink our hips back towards the wall behind us. We can keep our head in line with our spine, or we can drop our head down here in our puppy dog. Let's go ahead and come back into all fours. So as we come back into all fours, let's go into our other side spinal balance. A nice big inhale, taking our right leg, reaching, squeezing that thigh, squeezing our glutes, squeezing our abs, reaching with our hand, holding as if we can bring that belly button up to our spine. Now let's go ahead and either hold or we're going to flow, elbow to knee, making sure that we're not rocking here, keeping that movement coming through the middle of our abs. Let's go ahead and come back out and hold, squeezing our thighs, squeezing our bottom. Exhaling, lowering that left hand down, coming down onto the right ball of our foot, dropping that heel back down to stretch our calf. Inhaling, slowly coming onto all fours, lowering down onto our forearms, and replacing those fingers, toes underneath, back up into our dolphin here. So we're going to lift all of our weight back to the wall behind us, pushing with our forearms. When we push with those forearms, it's going to allow our bottom and our hips to rise up towards the sky. We're going to sink our heels down towards the earth. Nice and long. And then slowly exhaling, coming back down. Let's go ahead and prepare for our side plank. So for our side plank, we're going to go ahead and bring one arm and one knee down to the earth. So we're on our 5-pointed star with our fingers hand nice and wide, knee is down, left foot is nice and extended, so our right knee, right hand are also connected. Our left hand is going to reach up towards the sky. We're going to tighten and squeeze everything in that side muscle, and we're going to look up towards that hand, squeezing that side, taking our psoas, lifting that belly up towards our belly button. Now let's inhale into that gate, squeezing that side muscle here. Now as we come into our gate, let's really reach with that hand. We're reaching as far as we can, palm is facing our ear. Now we're going to slowly flow with it. So coming from that gate, down into our side plank, using that side muscle to squeeze. Lowering down nice and slow onto that arm. As we're squeezing and flowing here, just allowing for that side to really do the work. And let's come up and meet in that gate one more time. Reaching all the way up with our hand. Now let's come back down into our side plank. We're going to go into our balancing side plank. So let's go ahead and get that nice good plank, nice and complete, holding with that foot. Reaching with our hands, squeezing the ab, and then we're going to slowly start to lift that left foot off the ground. So we're going to need to squeeze our belly button back towards our spine, squeezing that side muscle, reaching with our fingers. Squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. And then exhale, let's slowly lower down. And as we lower down, let's go ahead and come back into that dolphin one more time. So inhaling, and releasing our fingers, pressing with our forearms. Hips are going to press up towards the sky, pressing our bottoms back towards the wall. Slowly dropping those heels to elongate everything in the back of our legs. Exhaling back down towards the earth. Let's go ahead and switch sides for our side plank here. So as we come into our side plank, left fingers are nice and wide, left knee is connected, right foot's going to be out and expanded. Nice full grip with that foot. Let's go ahead and inhale, reaching our hand up to the sky. Now squeezing that side muscle, lifting with our hand. As we're looking at it, we want our hand to go up, not back. You want to squeeze. Now nice big inhale, coming into that gate, nice and slow. Palm turning towards our ear, reaching with our hand. And let's go ahead and slowly flow here. So just exhaling into that side plank. Inhaling into our gate. Taking our time. Using those side muscles to really work with our flow here. Now that next time, let's go ahead and meet up in our gate. Palm facing forward, checking out where our foot connected to the earth is. Reaching with that hand. Now exhaling, coming down into that side plank. Finding that security, we're going to slowly lift our leg up into the air. Balancing side plank. Squeezing our belly button back towards our spine. Hand is reaching. Now let's go ahead and exhale, slowly lowering down. Let's come into that child's pose. So opening up our knees as wide as our mat, sinking our bottoms back towards our hips. Let's find a place to connect our head. So we're either going to bring one forearm on top of the other and place our head there. We can make two fists, stack them on top of each other, resting our head. We can rest our head on the mat, either expanding our hands out, or we can grab a block at any height and choose to rest our forehead. Once we make that connection with our head, let's go ahead for a second and imagine as if we are breathing through our forehead. Feeling that connection between our forehead on that exhale. Now let's slowly take our head from side to side here, connecting temple to temple, taking our time, matching our breath. Now let's go ahead and slowly come back to center. As we do, we're going to bring our knees underneath us, and we're going to do a nice little flow here from our child's pose to our down dog. Now we're going to bring those knees underneath us, bringing our tail back towards our heels. Fingers are going to be nice and expanded out. Now remember, this is our natural down dog. We want to grip that mat with our fingertips. As we come up into our down dogs, we want to kind of turn our fingers towards each other as if we're turning two jars. So as we inhale, turning those toes underneath, nice big press with our palms back. And as we exhale, slowly lowering our knees down towards the earth. Using that breath of that inhale to kind of bring up a nice momentum. Finding a good rhythm with that breath. Now let's go ahead and meet that down dog. Pressing with the palms of our hands. Pressing our heels back towards the earth. Let's go ahead and come into that crouching bear, bending our knees, fingers are wide, pressing with our weight so we can feel all of our weight in our hips. Now inhaling, taking our hands back up, arming our knees back up into that down dog. Let's go ahead and look up at our hands. And then inhaling, slowly walking our feet and toes together. Our feet and hands, not our feet and toes. We're going to come into our forward fold. As we come into our forward fold, let's take a nice big inhale and allow for our belly to sink onto our thighs. Now let's do that again. Inhaling, and as we exhale, sinking that belly down. Now here, allowing our head to hang down towards the earth. Let's just shift our hips from left to right, stretching through the back of our legs, the back of our thighs. Now taking our hands, pressing them on our shins. Nice big look up in that monkey. Exhaling back to our forward fold. Nice big inhale, hands coming around our body, reaching up for the sky. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Now let's go ahead and grab our blocks real quick. We're going to do a couple sequences to warm up here. So grabbing our blocks, coming up to the top of our mat. And as we come up to the top of our mat, let's take a nice big inhale. Hands reaching overhead, and as we exhale, sinking down into our chair, squeezing our thighs, squeezing our bottom. Now let's go ahead and take a nice big inhale, coming up into the balls of our toes, in for that balancing chair. So really squeezing our bottom, squeezing those thighs. Squeezing, squeezing, holding. Now exhaling, lowering our toes down towards the earth, extending our hands out, still in our chair. Now inhaling, hands up. Let's go ahead and exhale into our forward fold. Bringing our hands onto our blocks. Nice big inhale with those hands on our block. Let's go ahead and look up into that monkey. And then exhale, lowering down in that forward fold. Nice big inhale, taking that right foot back into our lunge. Slowly, let's take that left foot back into our lunge. We're gonna go ahead and press back into our down dog. Now into our down dog, let's come into that plank, squeezing everything in our abs, squeezing our thighs, squeezing our bottoms. Let's hold our plank here. Inhaling, squeezing our thighs, bringing us back to our down dog. Now let's take a nice big inhale, reaching that left foot up towards our hand, turning our right foot out. We're gonna walk ourselves back to that warrior one. Nice big inhale, squeezing our abs here, bending that front knee, back foot is out for support. Inhaling our hands up to shoulder height. Now let's go ahead and straighten out that front leg, and as we exhale, we're gonna come into that pyramid. So following our leg down towards the floor, we're gonna bring our hands towards the floor, resting on our shin or wherever we may fall, bowing our head towards that knee for our pyramid. Now inhaling, bringing a bend to that front knee. We're gonna squeeze back into that warrior one, and then we're gonna twist our trunk all the way around. Sorry, I'm facing backwards, so that we're in a warrior two. Now our hips, shoulders, and chest are facing forward. Hands are gonna extend out nice and long. We're gonna bring our head over that front hand. Now exhale, bringing that hand up for our humble warrior. And then exhaling, bringing our hand down onto that thigh for our side angle. So reaching that hand up. Now let's flow between our humble warrior and our side angle here, taking our time, squeezing that side muscle. Feet are connected. And then slowly, as we come into that side angle, let's go ahead and straighten that front leg out. We're gonna bring it in for our triangle. So finding a place for our hand to rest inside our foot. We're on a block. Inhaling, extending our other hand up towards the sky, looking up towards that hand. And then exhaling, slowly coming back into our cartwheeling over that front foot. We're gonna bring our right foot back to our left, back into that down dog. Now inhaling, holding our plank here. Squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Exhaling that bottom back towards the wall. Nice big inhale, looking up at our hands. Let's slowly walk our hands and our feet together. Coming into our forward fold. Let's go ahead and zombie walk to the top of our mat. So allowing ourselves in our forward fold to slowly come up to the top. Once we get to the top, nice big inhale, settling that belly onto our thighs. Nice big inhale, hands coming around our body, reaching to the sky. Exhaling into our chair. Here in our chair, let's squeeze those thighs, squeeze those bottoms. Now slowly inhaling, coming up onto our toes, balancing chair. Squeezing our thighs, squeezing our bottom. That's going to help us stay. It's going to make the work last. And exhaling, lowering our heels down, inhaling our hands out, still in our chair. Now next big inhale, hands coming up to the sky. Exhaling, hands again, our hips. Nice big forward fold. Keeping our hands on our blocks. Nice big inhale, looking up into our monkey. Now on our exhale, let's slowly take that left foot back into our lunge. Both feet are facing forward here. Now let's take our right foot back to meet our left foot. Pressing back into our down dog. Now nice big inhale, squeezing everything in our body here. Let's come into our plank. We're going to hold our plank. Continuing to squeeze. Nice big inhale, bringing our hips back towards our down dog. Inhale, looking up at our hands. Let's bring that left foot up towards our left hand. Right foot's going to turn out in the back, walking our hands to that front foot. Nice big inhale coming in to our warrior one. Now slowly straightening out that front knee. Let's go ahead and follow our leg down in for our pyramid. So remember, we can grab blocks here if we so choose. However, we can rest our hands on our shin, the top of our foot or beside our feet. All we want to do is make sure that front leg is nice and elongated. We want to feel this stretch up the back of our leg. Now let's go ahead and inhale. Slowly bringing up into that front knee. We're going to come up into our warrior one and twist our hips to our warrior two. So we can adjust our feet if we need to. So now our hips are forward, facing over. So we're going to have our hips, shoulders, and chest facing towards the opening of our legs as opposed to that front foot. We're going to inhale those hands up nice and big into our warrior two. Feeling that stretch to kind of twist our trunk forward. Let's go ahead and look over that front hand and start reaching with our fingers. Now exhaling into our humble warrior. Now on our next exhale, let's bring that into our side angle. And then let's flow here between our humble warrior and our side angle. And let's take our time. Let's not really think about how many we're doing. Let's think about how we are doing them. Keeping that front knee nice and bent. Squeezing those hips. Squeezing our side muscle. Now let's go ahead and we're slowly going to come back into that side angle. And let's straighten out that front leg, slowly coming into our triangle. So that hand is coming inside of that foot. Our right hand is extended up to the sky, looking up at that right hand. Exhaling, slowly coming down, bringing both of our feet together. So walking that front foot and that back foot together, back to our forward fold. Let's go ahead and grab our blocks here. Nice big inhale, looking up into our monkey. Exhaling back down into our forward fold. Now let's go ahead and take a nice full inhale, hands reaching up to the sky. And releasing those front three fingers, pointer finger up. We're going to come into our crescent moon here. So really just taking our rib cage around that spine, nice and slow. Really feeling that expansion ever so gently. Exhaling, releasing our hands. Let's get a little bit of a sunflower in here. So taking our feet a little bit wider, as comfortable as we would like to be. Inhaling those hands up. Exhaling, forward fold, hinging at our hips. Nice big sweeping of the sky. And then the ground. And just continue to flow here. Let's go ahead and slowly, next time we come down to pick up the flowers, let's go ahead and stay bent over. We're going to slowly lower our head and our crown towards the earth. We're going to try to take our hips up towards the sky. Now as those hips come up towards the sky, it's going to bring our belly more on our thighs. Now let's walk our hands out one hand length and then just exhale our weight into our bottom. Nice, wide-legged down dog. Now let's go ahead and slowly lower down onto our bottoms, ever so slowly. As we come onto our bottoms, we are going to get a boat, just one boat tonight, but we're going to get one boat before we make our way down. So coming onto our bottoms, we're going to bring our feet out in front of us and our hands are going to be back behind us. If you're a person who needs to find their sits bones, go ahead and find your sits bones. Once you find them, let's go ahead and think about straightening that back all the way up through the crown. And then as we take that next inhale, hooking our hands underneath those knees, coming up into that cradle position. Now we can stay here or we can straighten our legs. We can stop here or we can take our hands out to our side. However we are doing it, we want to think about being in a V. Continuing to hold. Squeezing our abs. Squeezing everything in those abs. And exhale, slowly lower down towards the earth. Let's go ahead and come on to our backs, nice and slow. Let's bring that right heel onto our left knee, opening up our hip here. As we are opening up our hip for our supine 4, we can choose to stay here in that supine 4, or we can choose to inhale, bringing our other leg closer to our chest. However, we want to keep those toes pointing back at our knee. Nice, deep hip stretch. Now exhale, lowering that down towards the earth. Let's go ahead and come back into our crunch position. So we're going to come across for that knee. We're almost done. So let's go ahead, inhaling those hands back behind our head. We're going to come across our body. Inhaling up. Nice, slow turn, opposite knee. Opposite elbow to opposite knee. Nice and slow. Taking our time. As we come through the middle, really thinking about using that breath to inhale, twist, and to lower down. Now slowly back down towards the earth. Let's go ahead and switch legs. Right leg coming down towards the earth. Left heel will rest on that right knee, turning that left toe towards our knee. Now we can choose to stay here in our supine 4, or we can choose to inhale, bringing that leg into our chest. So still have that forward, that toe still stretched. Knees just coming in, however our hip feels today. Now let's go ahead and exhale, slowly taking that foot back down towards the earth if we had it in our supine pigeon. Hands are going to come back behind our head. Let's come across that body one more time. So inhaling up, twisting through the middle, slowly bringing that elbow up towards our knee, taking our time, using our breath to help twist us. Nice and slow. Nice big twist through that middle. And then exhale, lowering down. As we lower down, let's bring those knees into our chest. And let's take our knees in a little circle here. Using our breath, inhaling one way, exhaling the other. And then slowly taking those knees in the other direction. Now exhaling our feet down towards the earth. Let's go ahead and grab our blocks. We're going to come in for a supported bridge. So as we inhale, we're going to go ahead and walk those heels back towards our bottom. If we don't have blocks, we can always use some pillows here. Or we can take anything that we can make a square with, and we're just going to inhale, lifting our backs up off the ground, exhaling down onto those blocks. Now, as we come in for our supported bridge here, let's take a moment to reach our hands down towards our block or blocks, and then we're going to inhale, squeezing our shoulder blades together, opening up that chest nice and big, pressing all of our spine on those blocks. Now let's go ahead and inhale slowly, bringing our knees into our chest, still resting on those blocks, making any adjustments we need to. We can close our eyes here. And once we are comfortable, let's find a way to move around. So if we want to move around in a figure 8 or some circles or just side to side, but let's take a moment here to close our eyes and kind of connect with that lower back. Kind of feel around. Maybe we've been sitting today. Maybe we did some activity this weekend. So really connecting, again, grounding down to the earth, kind of where we started, just feeling the earth underneath our back, feeling our connection, just allowing for any tension to be released. Now let's go ahead and inhale our feet up towards the sky. Let's just point and flex through our heels. Now, even if we are not, or we're in comfortable blocks, we can still be on or off our blocks, doing this on the ground. Now, if we would like, we can stay there, or we can just bring our legs back towards our head, a little bit of a mini plow here. Just trying to stretch out the back of those legs. And then from here, let's take a moment to kind of play around. Just feel any tension we need to release. Noticing. Keeping our eyes closed, just having that moment to connect here. And then on our next exhale, let's go ahead and slowly bring our feet down towards our mat if we have not already. And we can choose to stay here or knees to chest on our blocks if we would like for our meditation. Otherwise, let's go ahead and come all the way down into our constructive rest pose, our extended mountain, or relax out in our 5-pointed star. So finding what is comfortable for us in this moment. And as we do so, let's feel our backs gently connecting towards our mat. Let's take the time to just roll our head from one side to the other, nice and slow here. And slowly coming back to center with our head. Let's move around our ankles and our toes. Allow them to kind of settle down towards the earth. As we are settling down towards the earth, taking a moment here to just slowly rotate around our body in a nice relaxed state, welcoming in our evening. Let's go ahead and start by bringing our awareness to our big toe. Thinking about our big toe and our left foot, let's start with our left foot. So big toe of our left foot, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, top of our foot, heel, shin, calf, thigh, and left hip. Now coming to our right side. So our big toe, our second toe, our third toe, our shin, our calf, our thigh, our hip. Thinking about both of our legs together, feeling them nice and heavy, connecting, pressing them, feeling how heavy they are as they come down towards the earth, noticing how heavy our hips, coming in and noticing how heavy our middle section and our shoulders. Coming to our left shoulder, left elbow, left forearm, left wrist, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger. Thinking about our whole hand, our top and the bottom of our palm, our left wrist, our left arm, and then our right shoulder, our right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger. Feeling our whole hand, top and bottom, our right wrist, our right arm, both of our shoulders together, feeling heavy, feeling the weight of our shoulders, and then feeling that weight all through our hips and our back. Feeling our shoulder blades relaxed, slowly coming up and bringing our awareness to the top of our head, to the center of our eyebrows, relaxing our right eye and our left eye, relaxing our jaw, relaxing our ears, relaxing our tongue and bringing it from the roof of our mouth, nice and slow. Relaxing our whole jaw and our face. Relaxing our throat. Relaxing our whole body, just feeling the heaviness and our connection. And in this heaviness of feeling nice and grounded, let's take a couple moments here as we hear our breath, just to envision how we would like the rest of our week to go. Not really into deep depth, just a little skip to maybe think about an intention to set as our week travels on. Now, as we come with our intention, let's take a moment to think how we can act on this intention every day. And as we are thinking about how we can bring this intention into our life, let's just slowly begin to bring our head and rocking it side to side, shoulder to shoulder. Let's inhale our hands up over our head one more time. Stretch our feet out nice and long, nice, long, big mountain. And let's take our moment to slowly roll over onto either side into our baby pose. As we come into our baby pose, let's start to feel our breath coming through nice and slow. And then slowly, as we are ready, let's come up into a nice, easy seated posture of our choice. We are going to slowly bring our hands into our hearts. Let's go ahead and take 3 nice breaths together. On that third exhale, thinking through our intention as we move through our week, finding ourselves a little place and space to find some calm and peace. As always, I thank you guys for coming. Peace.